Today's video, why you will struggle to live in Germany and I don't anymore.
We are Greg and Lisa, an American couple living abroad in Spain. If you're curious about the crazy, funny, and surprising differences between the US and Europe, you came to the right place. All right.
Let me see. Did I say that right? Why you will struggle to live in Germany and why I don't. Okay.
Did you?
I think so.
But I don't think you say anymore.
Anymore.
All right. So this is a Brit in Germany. Okay. So
this is his experience.
Yep. And we are going to include a link in the description so you can go and support the channel. All right. Let's see what the Brit in Germany has to say.
Okay. Oh, wow.
What?
They have a trampoline out there? It's a street performance.
Yeah.
Oh.
This video will probably raise more questions than it answers, which is actually a good thing. When making big decisions like moving country, it's actually more important to find the right question than it is to find the right answers. You know, the answers will usually change depending on your emotional state. And so it's very important to keep asking yourself the right questions over a long period of time. Moving to a new country, taking on a new job, starting a new relationship, these things are all very subjective and only really you can know if it is the right move for you. The new country might be experiencing an economic boom but have a toxic culture. The new job might offer a huge salary increase but involve managing a very difficult team, and your friends might hate your new relationship but you feel like you're on cloud nine. All this to say that there are really no solutions, there are only trade-offs. Germany is no exception to this rule, and as you might have guessed, it's not.
I mean, I think it's the case no matter where you go. Even if you go, you know, in America from state to state,
right?
Those things are the same.
That's true.
Not as simple as the grass is always greener on the other side. I've been living in Germany now for over a decade, and during that decade, the economic, political, and cultural landscape has changed significantly, as it really has everywhere else. If you want more detail as to why the cultural climate is the way that it is, I actually wrote an article about this, which you can read by signing on to my newsletter down below in the description. But I'm not really going to get into too much granular detail here. This is going to be more of a general overview of things that you might like to consider when it comes to the country of Germany as a whole.
Okay. So what have you been waiting for?
Cynicism
and sincerity.
Versus sincerity. So if you have watched any of my other videos about the UK, you will know that I have a sort of love-hate relationship with the country. I love the countryside, but I'm not so keen on certain elements of culture like drinking and cynicism and the sarcasm. Cynicism is just one of those cultural elements that's very difficult to escape from in the UK. You know, this sort of roll your eyes, make a sarcastic remark, and shrug your shoulders.
That's interesting. Oh, I wonder why he's telling us about the UK.
He's comparing the two, but I was like, I thought the cynicism and sarcasm was like a part of their sense of humor. That that they understand, but I don't know. He's saying he doesn't like it.
Yeah, so maybe it is what you said, but it's also
just
that
he doesn't like it.
Shoulders is just sort of endemic in UK culture. I see this as a defense mechanism. If you frame everything as a potential joke, you protect yourself from potential rejection. It's a veil which you can hide your true self behind. The British are really kind of like avocados, you know, a very soft outer shell, but a very hard and difficult to penetrate center. Germany, on the other hand, is a culture of sincerity. You know, Germans say what they mean and they mean what they say. And there's no reason.
We've noticed that.
Which I find value in that.
Yeah, we've always found value in that.
Some people think it's rude, but I'd rather you tell me right here to my face instead of telling me one thing and not really meaning that. So
that could be why we do feel this
connection, like we're
invisible
moving to
connection.
Germany.
Yeah, because
wait, did you say we're moving there?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, okay. I got you. I snuck that in.
God, okay. Can't even say anything good.
Yeah, you can't say that.
And to try to read behind the lines or read some sort of underlying subtext, like, does this person actually find my idea interesting, or do they actually think it's ridiculous? The Germans are more like walnuts. They have a very hard outer shell, which, when cracked, reveals a soft and warm center. Now, because of this, a lot of people
Interesting.
really struggle when they first.
I would agree with that.
I like how the two, because one has a hard center and the other one has a soft center, and that was kind of an interesting.
Right.
Analogy.
I would say that our connection or experience with Germany so far has been through our videos and with the comments. And I would say that I agree with that. Like, there have been some super, super nice people from Germany.
But they are straightforward.
They are straightforward, which is good.
Yeah, we naturally we're older, so I guess we don't naturally take offense.
I'm not older.
Okay.
To move to Germany, but if you are tired of the cynicism, then a healthy dose of sincerity might just be what the doctor ordered. A happy medium between the two is obviously the best of both worlds. Now, this is not to say that Germany is just serious and sincere the whole time. Since I've started working for a fairly small to medium-sized German company, I've actually found that the German sense of humor is very similar to the British. Irony and sarcasm are also very common in Germany, but the key difference for me is that it's kind of like a sprinkling of sarcasm in Germany, whereas it is the basis, the whole foundation for personal relationships in the UK. Sometimes the British can get lost in sarcasm, and it's very difficult to determine if what they're saying is genuine or if it's sarcastic. And I certainly know that I have been accused of this many times before.
Oh my gosh, if you're a gullible person, that would probably be so difficult to move to the UK and be like, are you joking? Are you serious?
Right.
You
You'd probably take everything serious. Yeah, that's true.
But so yeah, you'd have to. I know that they do have a different sense of humor, and someone even said that as soon as someone from the UK makes fun of you, that means that you're on the in. So
that means they like you.
That means they like you. Yeah.
I don't know if I could deal with that.
Oh.
I mean. Yeah,
but you, like he's saying, it only can. Like, how far can you take that before someone actually, their feelings get hurt?
Yeah.
Someone actually gets hurt.
Yeah.
So if you're coming to Germany from the UK, the US, Canada, or basically most of the Western world, you will find the Germans rude, you will find them abrasive, you will find the culture difficult. There's just no way around this. If you have been brought up in a culture of politeness and beating around the bush and niceties, this sort of very direct.
That is so true. I mean, I think that's one of the things in America is that you do have to be nice, beat around the bush.
Same as UK.
Yeah.
They're very
really?
polite. Lots of manners. It's always, if you don't mind, can you please? That's why we say when we first came here to Spain, it was like, can I please have a, whatever?
Yeah.
But now we know it's just,
you just
ponme, like give me, put me down for. It's more direct even here.
Yeah. That's true.
Beating around the bush and niceties, this sort of very direct style of communication is going to take some getting used to. But I do think that ultimately, in the long run, it is preferable. At least for me, it's just nicer to know where you stand with people and to not have to sort of employ too much mental energy trying to work out what this person actually thinks and actually believes rather than what they are telling me.
Right.
The weather.
Weather. Okay.
I know that many people complain about the weather in Germany. They often list it as a reason not to move here or as a reason to leave. They often complain about sort of dark days and sort of dreary, cold weather. But coming from the UK, I can certainly say that the weather in Germany is a lot less wet. There is a lot less rain here than in the UK. There's more sunshine, there's more blue sky days. It's generally much more stable and less changeable. So the summers are warmer, the winters are colder. And it's just kind of like how you would expect the seasons to be. It's no Spain, but that has its benefits as well. So unlike Spain or Tenerife or Gran Canaria, Germany is not some kind of British colony. And so, no, you won't find the English breakfasts or the Sunday roasts on every street corner. But isn't that kind of a reason to move somewhere else, to experience a different culture? And so, yes, you will experience culture shocks here. You will experience embarrassing moments, but that's what moving abroad is all about. Number 3, the economic situation. So I don't think I need to tell anyone that it's very challenging at the moment. Germany is currently in a recession, and it looks like it will take at least another year for the country to transition out of this. Prices have gone up across the board. Wages have stagnated, and people are...
Let's see.
Oh, it's only 9 months ago. So they're potentially in a recession still.
Feeling the squeeze. But even with all of this, I think that the situation in the UK is even worse. Prices have gone up even quicker than in Germany, and there's just less economic opportunity all around in Germany.
I heard that because of Brexit.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know if it's true. That's just what I've heard. It's just like became a different way because they weren't getting some of the economic support. I could be completely wrong because they were getting a lot of economic support that they probably didn't know that they were until they left. And then they stopped, and so they've had to raise taxes and
oh my goodness,
charge for things like having a car and all of that. I think I could be wrong, and I'm perfectly fine if you tell me that I am. But that's just what I think.
Than in Germany, and there's just less economic opportunity all around in general. So even though the situation is challenging, I think that Germany is one of the better countries to be in Europe at the moment. They are trying very hard to attract highly skilled workers and attract talent. One of these initiatives is the Chancenkarte to make the job search a little less stressful for foreigners coming into the country. And if you have skills or qualifications in things like healthcare, things like IT, new digital systems like AI, then you will probably be able to find a job fairly easily here. Salaries are higher on average in Germany than in the UK. There's good job security with things like unlimited contracts, with healthcare, with holidays, and all the other benefits that are included. And so I do think economically you would be better off here in Germany than in the UK. The only thing, the only caveat that I will add is that if you are a business owner or a freelancer, if you're trying to start something yourself, then Germany is not the best place for this, even though the country does consist of a lot of small to medium-sized companies. The tax laws, the rules and regulations are very daunting. And so maybe think twice about that before coming here.
I mean, that's the same here in Spain. Business owners are taxed more. And a lot of the locals complain about it. A lot of the digital nomads complain about it. So
we're digital nomads. Taxes high.
Yeah. So it's just same here.
Yeah, same here. Okay,
Number 4 is the location of Germany. I think that there is no better base to have within Europe than Germany because of its central location. And I've said this before and I will say it again, but people seem to think that this means like I'm trying to flee the country, like I'm trying to escape Germany. And this is so bizarre. It could not be further from the truth. What really used to frustrate me in the UK is the congestion. You know, the roads are just always totally full and blocked. Trying to get around the southeast of England is an absolute nightmare. There's no way you can do it with a car. Maybe like if you get a train or something, then it's possible, but they're also not particularly reliable. Like the infrastructure and just getting around the country in the UK is not good. And in Germany, the infrastructure is great and it's also very affordable. Like if I want to go anywhere within sort of a 200-kilometer radius, I can just hop on a train, use the Deutschlandkarte, which costs me 49 euros a month. And if I want to go anywhere further, you know, I can get to France, to Switzerland, to Italy, to Belgium, Amsterdam, the Netherlands.
It's all right there.
Like there are just so many countries within easy reach, which you can do either as a day trip or just as a short weekend trip. And this access to European
That's nice. I mean, we are a little bit further away.
Yeah, I mean, we're
Spain,
Portugal, and France.
I mean, we're closer than we were in America.
Yeah, close.
But it was still, you know, further away than what he just said.
Mm-hmm.
So,
as a day trip or just as a short weekend trip. And this access to European culture, in my opinion, is just absolutely unbeatable. And it is one of the reasons that I love living here. Just being able to go to Paris or Amsterdam or Milan or Bologna or Warsaw, it's just incredible. Like, this is, for me, it never gets old.
yeah, I can see that.
Number 5, you don't need to learn German. So, I have been harping on about the importance of learning German for what seems like forever. I mean, long before I started this channel, I was talking about how important it was to learn German, to integrate into society. And it's something that was like my number one goal. I had tunnel vision. Like, my number one goal when I first moved here was to learn German. Now, the reason I say that you don't need
That's nice. Wherever
that is nice.
Yeah.
to learn German anymore is that there has been a definite change in the culture, in the cultural makeup of Germany. So
Is this true? I'm curious. Because I don't know. In Spain, we feel like
we're the same way.
Have to
have to learn Spanish. We have in order to integrate, we have to know Spanish.
Right.
Yeah.
there has been a definite change in the culture, in the cultural makeup of Germany. So in the last, I would say, 2 to 3 years, I have noticed a significant increase in the amount of English being used in the cities. I mean, I'm only talking about the major cities here: Berlin, Munich, Düsseldorf, Hamburg, Cologne, Frankfurt. In these kind of cities, there are areas where you actually will not be understood if you speak German. Like, there are various sort of hipster, trendy areas where if you try to order food or coffee in German, you will just get blank stares. People will not understand you. You have to speak English in these areas. Germany and the Germans are in general very open and very receptive to foreign influences. And I've had this discussion a lot with people, a lot with German friends of mine. And nearly all of them don't have a problem with this. They see the introduction of English as a positive thing, especially the young people. They find it really cool. They like the introduction.
The young people. I can see that with the young people.
Oh man, that's like tempting. Because
Gregory.
No, I'm just saying it does get, it gets a little. You would just love to be able to speak English.
I know, but he said it was very specific in specific
certain
locations.
areas. Yeah.
So I wonder how specific he means.
Yeah.
Like neighborhoods in Munich, like just the smallest neighborhood, and that's where the younger people are.
Right.
I don't know. That's fascinating. I had no idea.
Yeah.
National vibe. But even the older people, they don't have any significant problem with this. And so the reason I say that you don't actually need to learn German is that you don't. Like, now, there's so many foreign influences. Like, the larger cities are very international, and you can easily get by without learning it. So I know this is a topic which might upset a lot of people, but I do remember when I moved here over 10 years ago, it was definitely a lot less international, and there was definitely more of a need to speak German. And now, even with discussions in government about introducing English as a second official language into Germany, all these international influences, lots of students where sort of the main language is English, it seems like it's going in a particular direction. And for that case, it's great for Brits or Americans that you can actually move here without having, fluency in German. Having said that, of course, I would always recommend trying to learn the language, because you're just going to miss out on so much if you don't speak it.
Yeah.
So to sum up, I would describe German culture as not particularly warm and fuzzy, but it is very open and honest, and you know what you're getting and you know where you stand. The weather is similar to the UK, but just with less rain, more sunshine, more blue sky, and less dark days. The economic situation in Germany is challenging, but it is significantly better than it is in the UK. Generally higher salary, more opportunities, and they are looking to attract highly skilled workers to the country. I would advise anyone moving here to learn German as a priority, but unlike 3 or 4 years ago, it is actually not a necessity like it used to be. So these are just my opinions. I do hope you enjoyed this video.
I mean, I'd be curious for our German viewers. Do you agree with the language?
Yeah.
Because I think that's probably of all of this, that's probably the most sensitive topic that he said.
You think that's the most sensitive?
That they would be like, disagree with him. But I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
He's experiencing it. He's noticing it. Probably small areas, but I'd just be curious how they felt.
I can see it. I mean, like in America, you know, like obviously, there's certain people that you better know English. Like if you come there trying to speak something else, they have a problem with that.
That's true. There's a bunch of people that are like, you better speak
this is
English.
America.
And,
we speak English here.
America. You better speak English. Yeah. So I don't know if that's a hot topic.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, we could be making it all up.
I know. Maybe we're making it up. You guys will be honest and tell us. According
that
to
is true.
him.
All right, let's see here. Okay, if you don't speak the local language, you will forever be a tourist.
That's true.
And that's kind of what we were saying.
Yeah, that's how we feel here.
I don't know. You don't need. That's true. That's one of the things that makes us feel like we're locals because we can kind of speak the language. We have the same currency, and you know, we use cash instead of a credit card.
We use cash.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't need German to survive in Germany, but you need German to thrive in Germany.
That's true.
That is good. Good job, flowing.
Yeah.
Let me go on. I would like that.
I can understand that.
That's true.
Yeah, and that's why it has so many likes.
Yeah, you can get by, but it's probably something underneath where they're like, you don't even care enough about our country to learn the language.
Right.
So could be some. Yeah. All right. Now I spent a lot of time in Munich, Mainz, and the Ruhrgebiet. I loved every minute. Learning the language was part of the experience. So there you go. They're kind of answering our question.
Yeah.
To learn the language. All right. Well, this is a good one. I can't wait to hear what all of you out there think about it. All of our German friends, and even if you have experience living there,
or our UK friends.
Oh
too.
yeah,
because he's from there and kind of talked about him.
That's true. I only said that not because I said it because I want to know what they think about the language.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks for stopping by. We will see you on the next video.
Bye.